Being scared to death boils down to our autonomic response to a strong emotion, such as fear. For fear-induced deaths, the demise starts with our fight or flight response, which is the body's physical response to a perceived threat. This response is characterized by an increased heart rate, anxiety, perspiration, and increased blood glucose levels.
Scientists have identified the maximum mix of heat and humidity a human body can survive. Even a healthy person will die after enduring 6 hours of 35 degrees Celsius warmth when coupled with 100% humidity. But new research shows that threshold could be significantly lower.
Ask bacteria where they'd like to live, and they'll answer. A kitchen sponge. Please, sponges are micro-paradise, capable of housing 54 billion bacteria per cubic centimeter. In addition to being damp, airy and loaded with food scraps, sponges provide an optimal physical environment for bacteria. Researchers report February 10 in Nature Chemical Biology.
Experiential purchases are also more associated with identity, connection, and social behavior. Looking back on purchases made, experiences make people happier than do possession.
One of the strangest things about tickling is that it's pretty much impossible for a person to tickle himself or herself. The reason you can't tickle yourself is that when you move a part of your own body, a part of your brain monitors the movement and anticipates the sensations that it will cause.
As oil becomes increasingly difficult to find, the search for it is extended into more hostile environments. The development of the oil field on the north slope of Alaska and the construction of the Alaska pipeline are examples of the great expense and difficulty involved in new oil discoveries.
In addition to exploring the possible antecedents of theater, Scholars have also theorized about the motives that led people to develop theater. Why did theater develop, and why was it valued after it ceased to fulfill the function of ritual? Most answers fall back on the theories about the human mind and basic human needs. You ought to know what to do to help a person who is choking. First, you stand behind the choking victim and put your arms around his or her waist. Second, you make a fist and place the thumb side against the person's stomach just above the navel, but below the ribs.
Watershed stores rainwater once it filters through the soil. Once the watershed's soils are saturated, water either percolate deeper or run off the surface. This can result in freshwater aquifers and springs. Also, water moves through the soil to seeps and springs and is ultimately released into streams, rivers, and the ocean.
The basic premise in the management of any system is the ability to minimize risk. In the context of an ecosystem, one of the important questions is the integrity of the environment and how this integrity is compromised by management with mismanagement in ecosystems. The risk of permanent damage to the environment is very high.
The bill calls for the establishment of the National Landslide Hazards Reduction Program within 1 year of becoming law. The program serves numerous functions, including to identify and understand landslide hazards and risks, reduce losses from landslides, protect communities at risk of landslides hazards, and improve communication and emergency preparedness.
Agricultural problems due to climate change of normal weather, water depletion, and the collapse of soil have become big problems in all parts of the world. Many are now focusing on ethics and family farming as a way to combat these issues.
An innovative new product or service can give a firm a head start over its rivals, which can be difficult for a new entrant to overcome. If the new technology is also patented, then other firms cannot simply copy its design. It is legally protected.
A community's urban force is an extension of its pride and community spirit. Trees enhance community economic stability by attracting businesses and tourists as people tend to linger and shop longer along tree-lined streets. Apartments and offices in wooded areas rent more quickly, and businesses leasing office spaces in developments with trees reported higher productivity and fewer absences.
The networks of roots that plants use to absorb water and nutrients can encompass a space larger than the part of the plant visible above ground. The nature of these root systems can help plants adapt to challenging environments such as deserts. For instance, mesquite trees can develop taproots capable of digging more than 50 yards deep to reach water.
Within this free course, you will be introduced briefly to the discipline of child psychology and to theories and approaches that have been developed to help us understand and support children's lives by focusing on the individual children. Psychologists can assess changes in their child's abilities over time, including their physical, cognitive, social, and emotional development. The course considers the ways in which thinkers have responded to the particular political problems of their day, and the ways in which they contribute to a broader conversation about human goods and needs, justice, democracy, and the proper relationship of the individual to the state.
Statistics are indicators of change and allow meaningful comparisons to be made. Why it may be the issues rather than the statistics as such that grab people's attention, it should be recognized that it is the statistics that informed the issues. Statistical literacy, then, is the ability to accurately understand, interpret, and evaluate the data that inform these issues.
380 years after his death, William Shakespeare remains the central author of the English-speaking world. He is the most quoted poet and the most regularly produced playwright, and now among the most popular screenwriters as well. Why is that, and who is he?
At a time when stress levels are soaring, rates of depression are increasing, and the gap between rich and poor is ever widening, we believe that giving can play a positive role in helping people to feel connected to those around them and generate a sense of purpose and hope. When we give, we feel valued, useful, and happy.
Your tutor helps you make the most of your time at university by giving you guidance and support along the way. All new students are allocated a personal tutor who will encourage you to get the most out of your course, direct you to other sources of support, and help you achieve your goals.
To some extent, attendance at cultural venues and events is influenced by a person's age and the composition of the household in which they lie. For example, those people in households with dependent children were more likely to visit zoological parks and aquariums than people living in single-person households.
Your body is nearly 2/3 water, and so it is really important that you consume enough fluid to stay hydrated and healthy. If you don't get enough fluid, you may feel tired, get headaches, and not perform at your best.
Rarely, however, does a single research study produce the certainty needed to assume that the same results will apply in all or most settings. Rather, research is usually an ongoing process based on many accumulated understandings and explanations that, when taken together, led to a generalization about educational issues and practice, and ultimately to the development of theories.
The tortoise size and shell shape varies depending on where they live. The shell is made of bone and is a dull brown color. Their ribs, backbone and breastbone have become part of the shell, which is why you can never separate the tortoise from its shell.